Is HS2 getting new trains a decade before the line even opens? Well, yes and no. The rescoping of HS2 and the phased opening does mean that the Elizabeth line will require additional units to effectively move passengers from Old Oak Common into central London. However, this wasn't the only justification for building new trains. The Elizabeth line has been a huge success since it opened in 2022. Since then, over 850 million journeys have been made. The line is so popular that it's now the UK's busiest railway, carrying in the region of 800,000 passengers each day during the week. The addition of 10 new trains is therefore justified on that basis alone, and Transport for London wants to enhance the Elizabeth line service well ahead of the opening of Old Oak Common. They were unable to provide any specific details. However, the units will enter service once they've completed 1,500 fault-free miles on the network. Then, once all 10 trains have been delivered, TfL and the service operator, GTS, plans to enhance the service, meaning that the frequency through the core section will be increased further. So, what precisely have new Elizabeth line trains got to do with HS2? The Elizabeth line was always going to need new trains once the new Old Oak Common Super Hub opens in West London. This new station will connect high-speed services from the Midlands and North to Elizabeth line and Great Western Main Line services to Heathrow, central London and to the west of England. This will see a big increase in the number of passengers using an already busy service. The requirement for additional units was further necessitated by the rescoping of the project and delays to Euston. This means that HS2 trains will terminate at Old Oak Common for several years, until the new Euston station is complete. This will put further pressure on the Elizabeth line, as it will be the main route used by passengers to reach central London. Clearly, even the previous opening window for HS2 of between 2029 and 2033 would have meant the Class 345s were delivered several years before the line opened. The new delivery timeline, which may not see the line open until between 2036 and 2039, means that the new units will be 10 years old, and the existing units 20 years old before HS2 opens. However, as mentioned previously, the units will be used beforehand to enhance the existing service. The timing of their manufacture was also somewhat politically driven, and played an important part in maintaining the viability of the Litchurch Lane site in Derby. Prior to the order for the new Class 345s, there were no upcoming train orders for the Alstom factory to deliver. This meant that many jobs were put at risk. Skilled jobs which, if lost, could have risked the long-term future of the site. Therefore, the delivery of the new unit ahead of schedule was thought to be a way of securing those jobs, and in turn securing the future of the site. The facility is still only operating at around 1/3 capacity, but retaining a core of skilled employees will be vital in the coming years, as HS2's new Class 895 high-speed units will also be assembled here. Retaining skills is vital for any company. However, it's particularly crucial for the manufacturing sector, and especially for highly specialised manufacturing, such as building trains. Whether or not the order for 10 Elizabeth line trains, consisting of just 90 carriages, will be enough to provide a stopgap is still unknown, and the uncertainties about when the manufacturing of the HS2 trains will begin is still a growing concern. Having said that, the completion of any new train is always cause for celebration, which is why Alstom invited members of the press and social media influencers to Derby to celebrate the completion of 345071. Attendees were invited to tour the main manufacturing line, where all of the key components are brought together to assemble the carriages, after which we were invited to ride the unit on the 1 mile long test track. Each unit will complete around 30 miles on the test track to check for any faults, before the unit is moved to the Elizabeth line to complete the 1,500 miles of fault-free running ahead of their introduction. The assembly of the unit starts with the roof sections. The roof assemblies, which are welded together on site, are transported to the assembly hall on board purpose-built trailers. wiring and other components such as HVAC units are then installed. A huge jig is used to hold the roof in place and rotate it when required, as can be seen in this shot. This allows the workers to safely reach all parts of the roof. Once complete, the roof is moved to the next stage. Here, the floor, wall panels and roof are bolted together to form the carriage. The aluminium body panels are manufactured using a highly specialised extrusion process and are imported from China. There is likely to be a good reason why a UK supplier wasn't able to fulfil the order for the body panels. But rest assured, many of the other components are supplied by companies based within the UK. Further components, the carriage ends and fully assembled cabs are fitted as the carriage moves to each stage of the production line. The cabs come as a single unit, complete with components, which are installed before they are fitted to the carriage. At the penultimate station, many of the larger internal fittings are added, such as body panels, and the inside of the carriage starts to take shape. The seats, trim and other smaller panels are fitted at the final station. Each carriage remains at the assembly stage for around 3 days, before moving to the next. Full assembly takes around 17 days. However, as there are several carriages being assembled at once, a carriage should roll out of the production line every 3 days or so. This rate could be significantly increased if more shifts were added, but currently there's only enough work to justify operating one standard day shift. Once each carriage is complete and has been lowered onto the bogies, it goes through a thorough static test. Then, once 7 intermediate and 2 driving cars have been completed, they are joined to form a full 9-car set, which is then sent out onto the test track. The Aventra platform, upon which the Class 345 is based, isn't perhaps the most popular, but it is one of the most ubiquitous train types currently operating in the country. While the platform isn't widely celebrated or fondly thought of, units based on the Aventra platform have been reliably transporting millions of passengers for almost 10 years, and will continue to operate for many more decades. The 10 units which are being produced, starting with 071, will be the last of the Aventras to be manufactured, marking the end of an intense period of train building in the UK. Hopefully, we won't have too long to wait to see the first of a new generation of multiple units, based on the new Odessia platform which Alstom has been working on for several years, and has been designed in the UK. Trains based on this new design will have low floors, and will have the option to be powered by varying energy sources, from 25 kV overhead wires to batteries. So they should fit the brief for Northern, Chiltern and East West Rail. Whether or not Alstom is chosen to deliver any of the upcoming train orders is up to the DfT, but it would be good to see Derby remain as the UK's train manufacturing hub for many more years. Just before I go, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Patreon and YouTube members who support the channel and help to make videos like this possible. Your ongoing support really is appreciated, so thank you. If you'd like to consider adding your name to the list below, then check out the links in the description. And quickly, if you found this video informative, then please don't forget to give it a like or a hype, as it helps my content to get noticed.